G'day there and welcome to Tim's Board Game Review, Episode 6. In this episode I'll be reviewing the quite popular game El Grande. El Grande is a game for 2 to 5 players and a game typically goes for about 1.5 hours. El Grande is set in 15th century Spain, and each player is attempting to extend their influence over as many regions of Spain as possible, so you could call this an area control game. The person who is the most successful at controlling their regions will earn the most victory points and win the game. This is actually the Decennial edition of El Grande, which comes with a number of expansions, but I'll just stick with reviewing the base game. So let's see what you get inside the box. You get a black and white rulebook. You get a sample game instruction card which talks you through a basic round of El Grande, the playing board which represents the various regions of Spain, the caballeros which are there to represent the guys you place onto the board to try and control the various regions of Spain, the action cards which come in 5 different stacks, and each one gives you a specific action as well as indicating how many caballeros you get to place onto the board or into the castillo. The power cards, which are used to determine the turn order and indicate how many caballeros you get to transfer from your provinces to your court. The king, who influences scoring and indicates where you are able to place your caballeros onto the board. The castillo, which you can place some of your caballeros into. A secret disc, which is used by each player to choose one of the regions which is required a number of times during gameplay. The scoring marker, which tells you which round you are currently playing, the mobile scoreboards which can be placed over the top of existing ones, the starting province cards which indicate your home province and the start location of the king. And this is what a board set up for 4 players would look like. The game of El Grande takes place over 9 rounds. Each round has 3 main parts to it. The first part is to turn over the top card from each of the 4 shuffled action card decks. The players then take turns in order to use their power cards to determine the order in which they get to choose the action cards. The power cards range from 1 to 13 and you have to bid a different number to those already bidded, and that power card, once used, can't be reused again during the game. The high power cards, which allow you to be one of the first to choose an action card, don't have as many caballeros on them as the lower cards. The number of caballeros on the card indicates how many caballeros you get to transfer from your provinces to your court. You need caballeros in your court to be able to place them onto the playing board, so if you're running low, you may need to play a low power card to get more caballeros into your court, even though this may mean choosing the last and potentially poorest action card. Each person then in turn plays their action card and places the number of caballeros at the base of the card into any of the regions that are adjacent to the king's current location but not in the king's current location. The king's card is always available. This card, along with allowing you to place 5 caballeros onto the board, allows you to move the king to a new region on the board. Once all players have used their action cards and placed the caballeros onto the board, it is the start of the new round, with new action cards being turned over. The person who bidded the lowest in the previous round starts the bidding in the new round, and then people take turns around the table placing bids. After every 3 rounds, points are scored. During your turn you can also place caballeros into the castillo. These only come out at the start of each scoring round and move into the region each player has selected on their secret disc. Once this has happened, during a scoring round, each region is then scored. In this example for New Castile, first place gets 7 points, second is 4 points, and third is 2 points. So in this example, yellow has the most caballeros in the region and gets 7 points, green gets 4 points, red gets 2. In this example, green and yellow are tied, and so they both share second place, which is 4 points, and red gets 2 points. In this example, red gets 9 points as they get a 2-point victory for winning their home region, while yellow gets 4, blue gets 2. And here, yellow gets the 2-point king's bonus, so they get 9 points, red gets 4, blue and green are equal third, so they actually get 0 points. After 9 rounds have been played, and 3 scoring rounds have happened, the person with the most victory points wins. A score a bit over 100 points is typically a winning score. So here are my ratings for this game. The components are given 8 out of 10. You get a nice solid board and the spectacular Castillo. Perhaps the only letdown is the black and white rulebook. The luck factor would be low. There is a tiny bit amount of luck in the draw of the action cards each round, and the king's starting position is also random. The fun factor, like I'd rate this a medium to high. This game, is quite fun to play. There's the tension of the bidding round, especially with a lot of players. Am I going to win the bidding? The communal picking on of the leader, if possible. The tension of who has chosen what region when the caballeros within the Castillo are moved onto the board. And there's also not a lot of downtime either. The depth and complexity of the game I'd rate as a medium. This game is fairly easy to learn, but there is quite a lot of skill involved in knowing which action card to try and get and how best to implement your action, and also choosing where to place your caballeros. The replayability of this game is high. The randomness of the action cards and the random location of the king leads to a game with a high level of replayability. However, this game is certainly better with 4 or 5 players rather than only 2 or 3, and so if you're going to have trouble getting 4 or 5 players, this could certainly limit how often you will want to play this game. Overall, I'll give this game a solid 9 out of 10. I really enjoy playing this game, and there's a lot of difficult decisions to make of where to place your caballeros or which action card to take, and the game, it's fun to play. So there you have it. That's El Grande. I highly recommend it. It has good replayability, it rewards skillful play, and it's fun. And I do apologise for my pronunciation of caballero and Castillo, but I'm not Spanish, so I gave it the best crack I could. And until next time, see you later. Castillo, caballero, Castillo.